Distinguished guests, esteemed faculty members, and my dear friends, good afternoon. Welcome to the Conventus 2025, the annual management conclave of International Management Institute, Delhi. Today, I, Janvi Jain, along with my co-host Orithro, welcome you all to the Analytics Summit hosted by the Information Management and Analytics Club. Alignment with the vision of Conventus 2025. This year's Conventus arrives at a pivotal juncture when leadership is being reimagined through the lens of the new generation that values authenticity, inclusivity, and purpose. The theme of Conventus 2025, when the next generation guides the boardroom, reflects how this emerging generation is not just anticipating the future, they are shaping it with conviction, creativity, and conscience.
Indeed, today's leaders are realizing that tomorrow's success can't just rest on yesterday's logic. The next generation values balance over burnout, authenticity over authority, and purpose over position. In this era, leadership is measured not by the titles but by the strength and clarity of ideas. And within this redefined landscape of leadership, data and analytics have emerged as the foundation that empowers every voice and enables more informed and inclusive decision making. Before we proceed further, we would like to present the theme video for Conventus 25.
India, the nation of young hearts, stands at a new dawn, brimming with a vibrant generation, restless yet rooted, bold yet balanced, not waiting for a seat at the table, but redefining the very room at large.
As boardrooms evolve and the sidelines become the stage, we find ourselves at a pivotal point where lines between hierarchy and harmony blur, and wisdom finds its echo in youth.
Learnings from history, hope for the present, and dream for the future. They have it all.
A nation has come of age, and at Conventus 2025, we are writing its story. Here, courage is the currency and ideas are influence. So let's join hands to welcome the emerging dawn, to anticipate, shape, and embrace the change that will define our future.
Our theme of the Analytics Summit, Democratizing Analytics, Access with Accountability, highlights how analytics is no longer confined to the few experts or senior leaders. It has evolved into a shared asset, empowering employees at every level to collaborate, experiment, and make data-driven decisions throughout shared decision-making.
But with accessibility comes responsibility. As data become democratized, organizations must safeguard privacy, mitigate algorithmic bias, and ensure fairness in every analytical decision. When managed with transparency and ethical intent, analytics not only drives efficiency, but it also builds trust, accountability, and equity within organizations. Today's session will explore how democratizing analytics can create more inclusive workplaces where every insight is valued and every decision is both data-driven and human-centered. Before we proceed further, we would like to present the theme video for the Analytics Summit 25. Moving on, we are privileged to have with us our esteemed professor, Mr. Himanshu Joshi, who will be moderating today's session. Our very own alumnus of IMI Delhi, he currently serves as the chairperson and research of FPM and a professor at IMI Delhi. With his vast expertise in analytics, data strategy, digital transformation, and information management domain, he brings an invaluable perspective in our session, democratizing analytics, access with accountability. Please join us by inviting our moderator, Mr. Himanshu Joshi, to the stage. I would now like to invite Mr. Mohi Sharan, the Secretary of the Information Management and Analytics Club, to kindly come forward and extend a warm welcome to Mr. Himanshu Joshi. Sir, we are very delighted and honored to have you as the moderator for today's session.
To lead this insightful conversation, we are privileged to host a distinguished panel of industry experts who have been at the forefront of analytics, data strategy, and responsible AI. Please join us in extending a warm welcome to our esteemed speakers for the Analytics Summit 2025, as they share their valuable insights, inspiring and enriching our understanding of this ever-evolving field. Ladies and gentlemen, to begin our session, we are delighted to welcome Mr. Sudhakar Jha, the Group Head of IT Strategy and Planning at Gujarat Fluorochemicals Limited, one of India's leading chemical and fluorochemical enterprises. With years of experience in IT strategy, digital modernization, and governance, Mr. Jha has been instrumental in aligning technology with business growth, driving innovation and operational excellence across diverse industrial ecosystems. His leadership in cybersecurity, digital transformation, and infrastructure optimization continues to set benchmarks for enterprises' resilience and performance. Please join us in welcoming Mr. Sudhakar Jha. We also request Professor Himanshu Joshi to kindly come forward and felicitate Mr. Sudhakar Jha. Sir, we are glad to have you in our panel today and are looking forward to learn valuable insights from you.
Our next speaker is Mr. Ashok Sangwan, a dynamic technology leader with over 25 years of experience in IT service management, digital transformation, and enterprise delivery across sectors like aviation, banking, and manufacturing. He currently serves as the Chief Manager of IT Security at Honda Motorcycles and Scooters India Private Limited, where he leads cybersecurity, enterprise IT security, and global policy initiatives. A certified lead auditor and a member of IEEE, CSI, and RMAI, Mr. Sangwan is also a corporate coach and a guest speaker known for his passion for people management and technology-driven organizational transformation. We now like to invite our distinguished speaker, Mr. Ashok Sangwan, to kindly join us on the stage. Now I'll request Himanshu sir to kindly felicitate Mr. Ashok Sangwan. Sir, we are very glad to have you in our panel. I look forward to have an insightful session with you.
Our next speaker is Mr. Shubhankar Patnaik, a seasoned leader with over 22 years of experience at the innovation of technology, human business strategy, and team leadership. As the lead at APAC BED and proposal management at SAP, he has been instrumental in driving innovation thought leadership and technology adoption as powerful enablers of business transformation across global markets. Renowned for his work in AI adoption, digital transformation, and organizational change, Mr. Patnaik has led and inspired high-performing cross-cultural teams, fostering environments where innovation and growth thrives. His leadership philosophy is built on collaboration, curiosity, and people-centric innovation, making him a strong voice on the future of work and the role of AI. Please join us in welcoming Mr. Shubhankar Patnaik to the stage. Himanshu sir, we request you to kindly felicitate Mr. Shubhankar Patnaik. Sir, we are delighted and honored to have you with us today.
Our next speaker is Mr. Vivek Agarwal, the founder and CEO of Liquid, a pioneering edtech company that has been transforming digital learning experiences over 2 decades. An alumnus of Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta, Mr. Agarwal brings more than 23 years of entrepreneurship and leadership experience in driving innovation at the intersection of education and technology. Before founding Liquid, he co-founded eGurukul, one of India's early ventures of learning, and began his professional journey with GE Capital. His visionary approach continues to inspire the evolution of personalized and technology-enabled learning across the country. Please join us in extending a warm welcome to Mr. Vivek Agarwal to the stage. May I kindly request Professor Ramesh sir to kindly felicitate Mr. Vivek Agarwal. Welcome, sir. We look forward to have an insightful discussion and learning from your wisdom.
Our next speaker is Dr. Jitendra Mohan Bharadwaj, an accomplished Chief Information Security Officer at Tata Advanced System Limited with a distinguished career in the information technology and service industry. He currently leads global initiatives as the Global Delivery Lead, overseeing the cybersecurity business worldwide with managing US geo delivery operations. With expertise spanning digital transformation, large program management, global delivery, practice management, and business relationship management, Dr. Bharadwaj exemplifies strategic leadership rooted in technological excellence. A PhD in business management, he brings a unique blend of academic depth and real-world experience in building secure, future-ready enterprises. May I request Dr. Jitendra Mohan Bharadwaj to please come forward and join us to the stage for the session today. Ramesh sir, if I could request you again to please felicitate Dr. Jitendra Mohan Bharadwaj sir. It's a pleasure to have you here, sir. Thank you for gracing us with your presence today. I would now like to invite Mr. Ramesh Bail to the stage, the ex-director of IMI Bhubaneswar and full-time professor of IMI Delhi. With that, I now request our moderator, Mr. Himanshu Joshi, to take the session forward. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you to all the panelists for taking out time to be part of this panel discussion. This discussion is layered into 3 stages. To start with, we'll try to look at the what part of the democratization of analytics in terms of what kind of impact is it making in your specific company or the industry that you are into. The second stage would be the why part, where we'll try to dig deep into what are the typical enablers or critical success factors that is driving this change, and what are the typical pitfalls that can be avoided. And towards the end, which is the last layer, we'll try to look ahead in terms of what the future looks like. So we'll try to look at what kind of skill sets do we foresee as far as future managers are concerned, how they should prepare themselves for the future, right? So let me start with an open-ended question to all of you. Uh, how do you look at this concept of democratization of analytics? Typically as an industry leader, do you think it's something that is limited to just few, or should it be extended to everybody in the organization? So if you could throw some light in terms of what has been your experience as far as making it available to everyone. There's no particular order, right? So you can start as you feel convenient. So, sir, we'll start with you. Being an industry veteran, I think you have started many companies and you have seen the entire transformation happening. So, if you could start, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Before I start, a couple of points. First, I wanted to thank Professor Bell and IMI for having us here, having me here specifically. But, one of the things, apart from the fact that, it's nice that somebody is willing to listen to you, it's also nice to have it just makes you feel a little younger as you get on, with fewer hair and whiter hair. It makes you remind of the days when we were, so it's nice to always come back to institutes and just feel. Secondly, I might add just one more personal observation. I want to congratulate all the students here. I remember, when I was at business school, I was involved in organizing an investment fair. And the way you guys have fleshed this thing out, the whole concept, the videos, the back, it's amazing. Right? We were never so organized. And I thought we did some good work, but this is a different level. So congratulations and really thank you, everybody. Now, as far as the question of democratization of analytics is concerned, I think it's been a trend, right? I mean, whole IT infrastructure 20, 30 years ago, we used to talk about Excel sheets and pivots, and then you had all these different tools of analytics that came. So the process of having information available to more and more people in the company is obviously been ongoing. It's got speeded up because of the technology evolution, more specifically AI, right? And is it a desirable thing or not? It's absolutely, I mean, there's no question of the fact that it's a way to go, right? It impacts the traditional management layers, obviously. There've been lots of different examples. One example I remember a few years ago, where when America was at war with Afghanistan, and they called it, instead of having every decision go up the chain of command to US and then come back, they actually started using this local communication messenger tools, right? So the whole process, and they were making decisions on the ground because information could get circulated faster, right? And I think as the it's almost a thing saying change is happening faster, right? Everybody knows that, and therefore you have to respond faster. And in that context, democratization is an obvious and a very thing. I think some people who run big industrial setups, like the rest of the panelists, will talk. But I just want to make one point from a consumer point of view, right? And there's an interesting, so let's say, how many of you use, all of you use social, anybody who doesn't use a social media? Nobody like that. How many use LinkedIn here? So all of you use LinkedIn, right? Now, tell me one metric that you go to see on LinkedIn. I mean, your profile. Anybody wants to share? What do you look for in LinkedIn? Any number that you track? Yeah, please.
I would say a number of jobs available, at least in my area.
Okay. And do you track the number of, say, people who visited your profile? I mean, maybe that's not a thing that right now, but that's, so number of profile views, right? Now, you see, when you talk of it's nice, who's viewing your profile. But you see the amount of information LinkedIn has that they haven't shared with you, right? They know who came at what time and what did they do, how much time they spent, right? And as you start, say, promoting yourself, or you start writing and you try to become influencer, whatever it is, you'll find that information becomes more and more valuable. But LinkedIn does not give you that. That is the way they make their money. So it's the asymmetry of information that they have and they share with you as a user, which allows them to, that's integral to the business model that they have. So the democratization process in that sense is very limited there. They give you what they want to give you, but they have like 10x, or maybe probably 95x more information that they use, which you need to pay for, right? You want to run ads, or you want to, how many people are living in Delhi, for example. You get a search tool, but not depth. So that's one point on the democratization part that I continuously wonder about. In fact, I'll complete the loop since I don't know. Is it okay? So, in fact, one of the business models that as you think about, those of you who want to consider businesses, is this asymmetry of information. Basically, collecting information from a bunch of people and making the aggregate available to individuals in a way that it is more valuable. So, for example, in a learning domain, if I know that 100 people like you have found a particular video useful for learning, I can tell you that, right? And I can charge you a premium for that. I think that's a fundamentally consumer-based business model that can be very, very powerful as you think about those of you who want to build your businesses and go up. So I just want to.
So would you like to add?
Yeah, thank you. I think it is beautifully set up, and of course, I would like to congratulate all of you to host this event and to invite us, on the Friday. That is great. When we talk about democratization, we need to understand what is data, and everybody say data is oil. I don't have to tell you guys, but oil is as good as we use it, So data analytics is basically something or which is there. I can tell you small examples. This is not something new, first of all. It has been there from ages, We have got data always available in the business, in our day-to-day operations, and we take call on that. Now we talk about, because now we got tools available, and coming up with the AI, I think people are talking about. I'll give one simple example. I was in engineering college in '86. None of you are born at that point of a time, So we didn't have a luxury of internet. So we used to have an exam in our engineering college. There used to come 10 questions, 5 in part A, 5 in part B. And you need to do 3 out of 5 questions. Nowadays it is everything objective, isn't it? You just do that thing. So we need to write long answers which have been there. I'm sure people who have done engineering, they understand how the engineering students study. Normal engineering students, I'm not saying the exceptionally bright students which have been there. 2 days before the exam, we search for the books. We say what is to be read at that point of a time. I'm sure people have become smarter now. And then we say what question going to come. So there was a time in my days, what we used to do, we found out that every 3-4 years, the question repeats. There are some standard questions which have been there. So we used to go to our seniors and we say, give us the last 10-year paper. I'm not sure how many people have done it, but we did it, And then we see which is the probability of question coming to this. And we used to create our own question paper. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So that's a separate story, but yeah, I passed out in 4 years, so it worked for most of the time which have been there. So I didn't go to 5th year. So what I'm telling you, the data analytics was at that point of a time. In my days, you do everywhere if you see that. Coming back to as Vivek sir has mentioned to you, see the businesses which are coming up with the internet. The internet give you access to the data. Of course, there are business model around that also. You take out any basically online business for that matter. you see Uber. What does Uber does? It aggregate the demand, okay, at one place where you go to one place, A place to B, and who can basically supply those demands. And they match it basically. Airbnb, you see any basically model which have been there, they are working on that model, isn't it? So that is what the power come with that. One of the famous example is Netflix. I'm sure if you read the Netflix case study, okay, they become popular. They started as a basically renting at the cassettes, video cassettes. You're nodding your head. I'm not sure you've seen the video cassette. We have seen video cassettes. Okay, you're not seen. You've seen CDs. So you have to rent that at the one time. See, if you see when you basically watch the Netflix, okay, they capture all the data, how many eyeballs they capture, everything, and they made it available to everyone in their organization. That is very, very important. Organization consists of various division, you know, marketing, production, quality, finance, everything which have been there. And this data is made available to them on the role based, what they want. You can't provide the data as it is to everyone. It is not free for all. If you're a marketing team, you would like to know what is the impact on the marketing which is going to be there. If you're from the production data is relevant to you. HR which have been there. And there are basically, HR is very, very sensitive. Of course, if you go to the organization which have been there are laws around that, what you can share with that. So data democratization is, if you wanted to see any successful organization or you want to run any successful organization, you need to share with this in your organization the right amount of data with the right kind of a control so that they can take the actions. We are in an era where we need to take action quickly. Gone are the days when you have something happening and then you basically take action on that. So I think that's what we'll talk about.
So if I could interject, sir, I mean, while data is available to everyone, right, in your organization also, being a product company which is into the defense sector, how much of this availability of tools, right, different kinds of analytical tools, has it shaped the different processes within the organization, say product development, R&D? What impact have you seen as far as these processes are concerned?
So how we measure, I think I work for the Tata for that matter. We work for the efficiency, you know. So for example, if you have seen, we build C-295 aircraft, okay, with the Airbus, we got a basically facility which have been there. So any production which we do, in initial days, it used to take months, now it takes days kind of a thing, because we use tools to prototype. We also create the digital twin for that matter, for basically maintenance other aspect which have been there. As far as the access goes, that is a very interesting piece for us. We classify data into 4 categories. The confidential one, because we work for the defense and the airspace, so we can't give information available to everyone for that matter. There are controls over that. The multi-factor authentications is there. You need to physically go and access those data. It is not available from home. We don't believe in work from home mostly kind of a thing. Shock for most of the people, but people work from home. So those kind of a thing which are in place, okay. What it gives you, okay, what is happening around the world, what is happening in your organization, and you can track better. So we got a matrices around it. Any product which come out or any product we implement on the IT side, I'm talking about the IT side which have been there, how much efficiency is going to bring to our system, time to product. And then we also look at the basically the defects per product. Okay, that also help us, you know, preventive maintenance or the proactive maintenance, which you call it. So these are 2-3 matters which you look into that.
So I mean, these metrics have been there for, you know, ever since production has been in place, right? Whether we talk of quality management or defects, etc. Do you see a difference in terms of with these tools coming in? You know, the efficiency, you talked about turnaround time. There's a significant improvement in those metrics.
Yeah, so as I told you, data was already there. It is not that there's something new which has been created, okay? But data used to be in the silos. Like for example, if you look at organization like us, it's a very complex organization. We have got around 5 JVs and 3 subsidiary. Okay, and each JV has got their own IT systems. Okay, so what we are able to do with this tools which are implemented right now, that data is available to people who are actually working on that, like shop floor. Initially, around I think a decade back, if you wanted to have data, you need to request the IT department. Then IT department used to basically go to the respective IT department and then they come out with the data. So it used to be a lag in getting the data as of now. So in the last 10 years, we gone through the digital transformation exercise. We say if the shop floor, the person is working there, he or she needs the data at that point of a time. and what are her or his roles which have been there, you get access to that accordingly. The moment you change out of that role, for example, you change from production to quality, your access to data gets changed, but it is on the floor itself. So that is the one thing which you're able to do it.
One more point, just quickly, that one aspect of democratization is that earlier, like I said, in large organizations, you had all these structures and you need to choose which section, which the blah, blah, blah. Now you can just ask questions. I mean, the way you use ChatGPT, you can ask questions, and therefore access and use of the data by a broader is being really facilitated.
So that leads me to my, another related question. I mean, that's so with so much of data being available to everyone, does it really enhance the decision making, or it also leads to creation of chaos? Right. So I mean, what's your thought on that? Probably we'll go with you, sir, and then.
Yeah, absolutely correct. So if you look at having a lot of data, I think this data democratization is a organizational behavior stuff. The organization has to be prepared for it. You put the data to everybody's hand, and there is a term called analysis paralysis. Okay, you have to do all the analysis, but you can't take any action. The success of Netflix happened because the product team could do A/B testing at the area where the customer, what interface the customers are liking, and they took a decision and they became a success. Same with Spotify and all. But there are many organizations where the age-old concept of information trader, we call it. People just keep the information to them and don't percolate it downstairs. And there are some cases like where people just don't want to, they know the data is bad, but there is a sense of a fear in an organization. Who's going to bail the cat? Who's going to tell the king, okay, he's naked? The data is there everywhere. So basically people are waiting for the trend wreck to happen. They are seeing the. So it's more of an organizational behavior thing where we need to educate the people. And there are two ways. The organization has to move away from asking permission to asking forgiveness. What I mean by asking permission is data is there, you go through a complicated process to get the permission to get the data and run your analytics. That will actually stifle innovation. Asking forgiveness is, okay, data is there, you do all your sort of things, and things work out, just like Netflix, it's good. Then you ask for forgiveness and the system, okay, will say, okay, at least you are trying, and there should be some capacity to take in failure. But there is a risk, as I mentioned.
Specific to SAP, since you are the largest enterprise provider, a significant amount of investment goes into change management and exercises like business process reengineering,
yes.
Right? So, have you thought of, or are there any evidences to show that, this democratization of analytics, say at different levels in the organization, it's making an impact on cutting down on some of these processes or expenses, right?
Absolutely.
Say training and development, change management, right? So, because I mean, if that happens, it's a win-win situation both for the company and the client, right? So do you see some kind of change happening in that domain?
Yes. So I was part of their value engineering team. We used to conduct a business intelligence survey where we used to go to the customer and say, so these are some business intelligence thing to each of the units which were there in the silos, and tell them, okay, what are the benefit in your all this business process, basically hire to retire, how the cost has come down, or some end-to-end processes, or some small processes like day sales outstanding. And because of this visibility of data, along with that accountability of taking action on it, has ended up with significant improvement in the processes. The exact, I can tell 40-50%, and you will all believe it, but the exact, I would rather say that go to valuemanagement.sap.com. We have some research papers. You can actually read there how business intelligence initiatives have benefited organization to cut down on their, basically improve their efficiency and also open up new revenue instances for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Sangwan, being from a manufacturing unit, any different experiences?
So I'll thank you, Professor Imanshu. So I'll add on that one first. Mr. Vivek and Jitendra shared the information in terms of the data or information. First, I'll come on the manufacturing. Before that, Jitendra shared that one that 2 decade or maybe 3 decade there was completely manual process, and then later we moved to one by one. The banking system I managed, so completely information was centralized, available with the IT only, not with business. IT was the enabler for the business, and they share the information or data, whatever required. Now, the change came in the picture. Before going on that one, I'll ask one of question from the students that have you seen on the social engineering point of view, you click on any link on the Instagram, Facebook, or Mr. Vivek talk about the maybe Ola or Uber. I'll give an example. Have you observed that one? If you click some link and you got a lot of calls, follow-ups. That is the change coming now, because it's linked with the business by default. I'll share more on that one. If you are first time traveler and going to a different city, you never travel to, you gone to that city, and you book a online cab, they may charge you differently. They find out that your mobile number or you landed first time in the city. Kind of data or information they use. Same thing you can see when you are booking a flight ticket and you continuously using 1, 2, 3, 4 platform, the price will rise automatically for you especially, not for all. If you will check that one, I'll check differently, the cost will be different. So how it is the data or information use. So the base is in terms of I belong to security, and the framework or fundamental we can talk about, it's related to CIA, confidentiality, integrity and the availability. How you are sharing the information, it should be confidential, and in terms of the integrity, and then how it is available. It is available with the top leadership, or it is available with the down the line, we can say, or the people engaged in the organizations. Coming to manufacturing, definitely that is I used across. If you will see a production environment, so if data and information not available, there is a plan daily, or I manage airport also, so there is a flight plan for the day, 24 hour, and the plan versus actual, the data or information should be available to the each and every stakeholder. So I'll give you one of the real example of airport. When I manage the airport, there is a collaborative decision making tool used by the airport, and I was not aware about that one. Sometimes it's goes down and there are a lot of this one cry across that one. So then I gone through that how it is flowing. So the tool was carrying the complete plan of the flight, this aircraft landing, takeoff. When the aircraft will land on the runway, which runway, then all the agencies, ground handling agencies, the ATC, the airport controller, all the stakeholders having a complete visibility of that aircraft that is landing at specific time, reaching on the bay. Then all fueling agency, cooling agency, ground landing agencies, airlines, all people are scheduled there.
So what you are basically talking about, that in terms of information availability,
Yeah.
coordination, etc.
Coordination,
that
sir.
has
Yeah.
significantly
So that is
improved.
helping the business across.
Okay.
Same thing in manufacturing also.
Okay.
If there is a target for the day, the 20,000 vehicle to be assembled on the day, so down the line they should know that one what is my target and how it is going on for the day.
So in other words, I mean, the planned versus estimate, planned versus forecasted,
Yeah.
right? I mean, these kind of estimates, you are able to get on the go, which was probably not the case earlier. Okay, so you come from a very, very different industry, chemical industry. So how is it, how is it, how it has impacted your industry?
Yeah, so I come from chemical manufacturing industry. So like any manufacturing, planning is very critical. Earlier, if we talk about the traditional way, so the decision making was coming from top to bottom. Everything somebody sitting at the senior management will tell on the ground shop floor that they have to do this for this month or this day. But now with this democratization of data, that power is in the hand of the shop floor, even the machine, the person who is running the machine itself. So before coming to next day, he know what he has to do tomorrow. He don't have to sit and wait for somebody instructing him, looking at the data, what is the sales projection, how much will be the production. If I talk about before this democratization, so even preparing that MIS will taking around a week, because somebody has to collect the data from the Excel, taking from the sales team to see the sales forecast, then do the planning, then see whether we have a material available for the production, and then how we whether machine is available for the production. So it was very huge time-taking exercise. But with that power of the data now, everything is streamlined. It's the decision making is faster now. It is more accurate. It's not intuition based that somebody will think themselves. It's more on the data based, based on the trend, whether it will required or not required. So it's helping a lot.
So I think one common thread that is emerging, that the data is available to everyone as well as the tools to analyze the data. Now, with all this analysis, also comes accountability and the belief or trust in the output that we generate. Do you see a gap in terms of that whatever these tools are able to generate as a support to our decision making, users are comfortable in believing that, or is those outputs are taken as it is? Do you see a gap in terms of the trust associated with such kind of outputs? So I'll talk about, since you are from the L&D space, you have a lot of client side applications, learning analytics. So whatever it is, whatever analysis it's throwing up from all that data, what is the extent to which you trust that data?
So see, I'll give you a story which is not, and then I'll tell you about the challenges with learning. So there's this book I was reading a few years ago. It had one. See, the problem you heard from everybody, a lot of data is now available, right, with everybody. I think the wave, the benefit is the insights that you can generate from that data, right? The algorithms, effectively, these social media companies specialize, right? They figured out ways to keep you hooked on, right? And that's their business, right? Information. There's this story from a business side. So there's this, I think, some US-based, one of these large retail companies. Once, this person walked into the store and he said, "You guys have sent a mailer of maternity products to my daughter who's not married, who's probably in college or something. You shouldn't be doing this." So they said, "We're sorry, but our system has indicated that her buying behavior has indicated that she's expecting." He said, "Look, that's not true. I know she's not expecting." And it turned out he didn't know she was actually expecting. So the system, based on her buying patterns, knew that she was expecting way before her own family knew. Right? Now that's insights. That's hard to achieve, okay, from the data. And it's especially hard in my industry because there is no one view on what is the process of best learning, especially online. I mean, best learning is you have a good professor in a classroom and you learn, right? And you take some exams and you learn. But when it comes to online, I mean, is it video? Is it questions? What kind of questions? What frequency? What is so personalization that everybody keeps talking about? So there are 2-3 levels of personalization. One is of how much you know and how much you don't know. That itself is fairly difficult to estimate when you get down to it. But there are also other things, emotional, right? I mean, if I'm not in a good mood, I'm not going to learn regardless of who's teaching me or what I'm doing, or I'll be slow and stuff. So there are different, so just establishing those parameters which help, which allow me to tell you, okay, you've done these 3 things, if you do these 3 things, you will learn. That's pretty much, as of now, the state of the art in learning industry is impossible. Okay, everybody has, so when we build our dashboards, for example, our analytics, everybody wants something different, because everybody has got their own view on what they want to track, on what they want to, what they think, constitutes effective learning. So you can do assessments and all, but that's much later, and how do you sort of make it more? So the analytics is not just about, what has happened, right? That is the most basic form of analytics, right? The second step is what is likely to happen, right? And the third, the best step is what is the impact of that, or how you can change that, or how you can control that, right? So if you've done first quarter, you've done, X amount of revenue, so how much are you going to do? But even more interesting would be how much, how can you increase the revenue, or how you can meet the gap, right? So those are the insights. So as managers, as go out in the industry, my view would be focus on the users, focus on the insights. And that's a layer of, so analytics is there, but you need a layer of domain, right? I mean, you can't get insights just by, without knowing the domain, right? You have to know retail, what is the behavior, education, what is the behavior, and so on and so forth.
So what I was getting at is, with so many tools which are available in the marketplace, right? Each having their own algorithm, way of analyzing and reporting the data. Which one to trust, right? Because, we recently had an instance where, one of the big 4 companies, they gave a report to a client, and that turned out to be plagiarized, right? And it had a bad, image about the company, right? So when as users, we are having access to so many tools, how do we ensure compliance and governance, right? That's what I was talking about. How do we ensure that the trust is there in the system, that whatever it is throwing up is actually worth,
See, it is I don't know if some people can answer. I don't know if there's one answer to that, right? And maybe somebody else can take that. But it's a hard question. It's what I would only say, which tools do you, the wisdom and success of managers in the future, and all our success, will lie in how we make that decision. Which are the tools we use? Because no one tool will meet every requirement. No one set of data will meet every requirement. So so knowledge is when you have all the knowledge of all the tools that are available, right? The wisdom will come from which tool to apply in which situation. Right? Even today, and I'm sure all of you use different LLMs, right? There are already specialization happening in which LLM to use for what purpose, right? And to know that is where the difference will apply, in my view.
So just wanted to add on this thing, I think what Mr. Vivek has mentioned. First of all, I think tool is not to blame first. It is a combination of people, process, technology, PPT. I think you gave PPT in your class, but PPT is very important. Please remember that. So garbage in, garbage out. Data is data. Okay, it means, I think there is a standard thing like glass half full or half empty kind of a thing which have been there. So first thing is that. So I'll talk about basically how organization works. Most of the organization are talking about Gen AI, but they don't use much Gen AI. Please remember that. They are only doing the experimentation with this thing. Most of this work, I think the incident which you're talking about, somebody used the Gen AI and they didn't basically verify. So we call it trust but verify. Okay, in all organization, if you see, they say trust but verify the data. Okay, there is a peer review which happened and how to do it. In fact, any organization for that matter, whenever the data input happen, that is where you control things, okay? Because you should have a data policy. Please remember that. I'll give you an example. If you got an exam tomorrow, I'll come back to exam, okay? Because you're students and I'm coming to that only. If you got an exam tomorrow, you will die to get a paper. What will come to, until it is open book. Nowadays it's open book also. By 9 o'clock, if there's an exam, you will like to know what is the paper going to be there. After 9 o'clock, the value is 0. So data has a life. Please remember that. Data is not eternal, first of all. So any organization for that matter normally have a data policy. What is the life of a data? How long they're going to keep the data? What is right data? What is the classification of data? So that is very important. Once you get that governance framework, then you need to have a framework to basically how that data gets into system. Then the tools come to play. Tools basically talk about the algorithm. Okay, but important is that before you go to the input, you need to know what the output you want. There is a huge amount of data. I think everybody knows that, and we get basically carried away, isn't it? When we start seeing one thing, we go to one to another, which will be there. You need to be very clear, and in an organization, it is very clear what output you want. So, for example, data analytics tools are very, very heavily used in the HR area, in IT industry. I'm talking about. For IT industry, it is very important to know the attrition rate. How many people are leaving? The moment people leave, the knowledge leaves. IT industry also looking like we are also looking to people that when we hire a person, what is the probability of longevity that person in our organization? Now, how do we get it? People are active on the social media. When the hiring happen, the social media analytics happen, you know. For the each candidate, most of the organization does it. I'm not saying everybody does it, but most of the IT companies are doing that thing. How you are active, what are your views, from what background you come, apart from your, I think, all the data which comes, okay. So I'm saying data has gone beyond the resume. I'm saying for the hiring purpose, it goes what activity you do. I'm telling you one example. If you go to your browser, okay, and if you're using Gmail, I think everybody uses Gmail for that matter. वो साल के आखिर में बताता है कि आप कहाँ गए थे. Have you noticed that? You even don't know that. And if you go to your browser, click on the right hand side, the option which has been there, there is an option there. I'll tell you after the class. It can also tell you आपने pizza कब खरीदा था, कहाँ से खरीदा था, कहाँ deliver हुआ था. You don't know that. But that company required that data. Okay? The IT company required the data to create the product around that. Your basically, as I think he mentioned this thing, that is called the personalization. We all use Siri and all the thing. You know that, na, Alexa? बड़ा अच्छा लगता है ना Alexa को बोलते हैं तो ठीक है. So what happened when we, that is NLP. Okay, that is also data. If you go to Alexa in your home and if you speak about, they keep on basically hearing those words and processing those words. They only act when you speak Alexa. Please remember that. So sometimes you'll notice that you're speaking something and you start seeing ad on your basically browser. आप बोलते क्या चमत्कार हो गया मतलब this is great kind of thing. It is not that. That's how the data is used basically. Okay. But coming into a point, I think we need to have a clear data framework, how the data is clean, what is the life of a data, and then what we wanted to get out of the data. So it is driven from the end. Okay. That what we want to expect. If we are clear on this thing, I think then this thing doesn't happen much, and most of the organization does that. Of course, as a personal, as a individual, we get carried away a lot of basically social media thing which have been there.
So I want to
Yeah, please.
So the first thing, Mr. Jitendra said that one, the tools are available, but what output coming from the tools, you should know about the presentation point of view first. What you want to represent. That is the first aspect. What kind of data or information you want to represent to in the organizations. The other you were talking about the only governance. It's not talk about the only governance. It's a risk and compliance also. So it's completely we talk about GRC framework, and nowadays anybody know about DPDP? You know definitely. So DPDP Act is passed by the Government of India, and it's maybe they will release the guidelines. So digital personal data protections, how you are going to protect your digital personal data. So in the organizations also we are having framework. In each and every organization they are having a detailed framework, and the base I talk about that one CIA the first, and then we are having normally ISMS we talk about that one, information system management. The framework we use across, and basis on that one, like I'm sitting here today, normally when I go for a speaker point of view, I need to represent something to the outworld. We need to send the presentation to our governance team first. They vet the content and then we can share the information. For today also, I have we taken the internal approvals, what content I am going to talk about here. So what information you are sharing, what kind of data you are sharing to the outworld within the organizations. There are defined controls. There are defined, we can say the secrecy point of view sometime. Uh, uh, each and every organization having like in manufacturing we talk about the design data. There is a R&D going on a new product, new model. So that is very critical information, top critical information we talk about. So like someone working on a design data, the person is authorized or not authorized, what level of authority they are having, whom they need to share the information or data, what is the retention of the data. So I told about the period of the data. So everything is chart down in each and every organization in corporate point of view when talk about, and you need to follow that one. And now the personal information also that is coming out in terms of what content you are going to share on your website when you are dealing with the client, especially. So you are capturing the information of the client.
Yeah.
Correct. If we are dealing in a product, selling product, so we are having a client management system. We can say CRM, or maybe we are following with the dealer management system. So we are capturing the information. You buy something, a product from the market, then they capture your information, your address, your personal data, mobile number. So that is your personal information, and how you are keeping the safe. What information to be shared internally, out the world. That is very critical in terms of
Thank you.
the when you are
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
dealing with that.
So my question is to Mr. Sudhakar and Mr. Patnaik. Uh, you know, with all these tools coming in, companies are joining the bandwagon in terms of who is adopting which kind of AI or the Gen AI tools. Now, to make these tools a success at the organization level, which is from vision to operationalizing those vision as far as analytics is concerned, what do you think are some of the critical success factors beyond technology, which organizations should focus on to make it a success?
So first of all, tool is just an enabler. So the real impact which comes is from the people. So keeping adoption of the tool is very important. So that's where the change management come in picture. So change management enabling people not only about the tool, but what tool can bring to them. Understanding that importance is very important because it's a cultural shift. If somebody is working on Excel doing the stuff manually, they don't want to change themselves and come adopting the technology as fast as we think.
So what role do you think of the leadership of the organization? How important their role is bringing about this transformation?
So every transformation, come typically in corporate is top to bottom. So the mandate from the top management is very important for the ground people to use or adopt those technologies. They should lead by example. So like I have seen in many organizations, if they are adopting something, there is a clear mandate. If suppose, let's say, we are reviewing the sales report, so what happens mostly in those kind of report, people play with the data. So if the mandate from the management, I will see the report or I will review the report only from the system, automatically that adoption comes.
Yeah.
So
Because many a times we see that users are using a particular tool without the information of the knowledge. I mean the organization, right? They are using it at a personal level, right? So how do you make that transformation from the individual level to the institutional level or the organization level?
No, so you're talking about the first part is the generative AI powered AI tools. Okay. So that was a very good case study about Dutch government. They had this analytical tool giving some provident fund, some money to the people out here. What's the main issue? What happened was all the exclusion happened, and all the edge cases, they were not taken into account because the Gen AI obviously powered by data, and the data was not diverse enough. Okay. And there were some, obviously, who were the edge cases, especially the minority groups, those guys who didn't have an active participation in putting the data into the system. So one key organizational change, which I would say in a Gen AI analytical environment is, first thing is having diversity in your team. Okay, so people with different thought process, people with different background, they should be part of a team in case you want to have a change management. Otherwise, there will be these rare cases, and it will be a blind spot. Nobody will detect, okay, this segment is getting, for example, in the Dutch, nobody pointed out. It was only people came out, okay, why is it for me, something else is happening, and for the other people, sir. So diversity is key. So that's a big one. And number two, admit that failure will happen. So that's the famous case study of Singapore government. They have actually done something in terms of using AI to provide facilities for their entire citizens. And what they do is they come up with their frequent maybe a report card every month. Okay, this is one area that we are doing good. This is one area where we can improve. So this is one of the basic change management which I would say when you are incorporating AI, because mistakes will be made, because these are actually, end of the day, these are models which have been paid data and you didn't have control on those data. And to your content, what was the second question you asked?
No, that was in terms of how do you make it institutionalize such kind of tools? Because people may be
So
using
tools
it.
is, I agree, it's just an enabler. It's mostly, that's what I say, it's data analytics is nothing but a OB, organization behavior activity. The culture has to change where you have to democratize the data. Along with democratize, you have to give the accountability of the data. Otherwise, as I mentioned, it will be analysis paralysis. And the second part is, this is part of the Google data analytics program, which I'm telling. Anything which is thrown by the system, don't believe it. Because in case you take up a data analyst, always question the data. Don't take what tool throws you up. So to institutionalize it, maybe make some adversarial analytics team. The team which actually challenges the data which is there. And what I meant about diversity is that only. Having different perspectives looking at the same data so that we don't lose on any blind spot.
So thank you. I think you summarized it very well, right? So with all this democratization of data and the tools being in place, right? All the number crunching, the data analysis would be taken care of by these tools, right? Now this question is from the lens of the future managers. What will managers do? I mean, if the choice of the data, the analysis,
First
the
thing is,
reports.
don't believe the data. You are the human. You will have the business knowledge. You are talking to people which AI is talking. So don't believe those data. Put your brain thing on. Always question the data, because as I mentioned, the classic case of the Dutch Provident Fund, those mistakes can happen and always humans should have the power to override.
Mr. Agarwal, I mean,
Shubhank, the younger generation has started believing what the machine is speaking about. Okay.
Don't believe.
So,
That's the culture. Don't believe anything. If you want to believe, only believe your parents. Apart from that, nobody else.
I want to add on that one. As a future leader, you need to understand first the business. What is not IT aspect point of view, not tool aspect point of view. First, you need to understand the business, why it is, and what is happening within the business, and what kind of data information it is used for the business. That is, if you are having that clear understanding, definitely you will be.
So what you are saying is that the fundamentals remain intact.
Yeah, definitely. You should put your mind, you should put your logic while reading the data, understanding the data, that is most important. Else,
But when
there
the
may
tool,
be a wrong
when the tool
information.
does everything for you in terms of the choice of the variables, because you keep asking questions and then it keeps on throwing responses. So when the tool does everything for you in terms of crunching, reporting, analysis, everything,
No,
what lies in the hands of the manager? So what I'm trying to get at is, typically we used to say problem solving and critical thinking are two key aspects of any manager's life. If that is taken care of by the tool, what kind of skill sets should we prepare the future manager for?
So suppose you believe the data and something goes wrong. Whose job? AI will not lose his job. They'll just uninstall it. Okay. Whose job goes in? So that thing actually doubles down. Accountability, your business knowledge actually doubles down. You have to actually be much more proactive in understanding the business where AI can go wrong. So it's a, believe me, ours was a much easier generation where we used to now our job was to only understand the business problem. Now your job is to understand the business problem plus where AI can go wrong. So don't, first of all, don't believe those numbers. That adversarial analytics approach. That's what I would say. That skill remains the same. Satyamev Jayate, it has been remaining the same since, I don't know, this human evolution, that truth will always prevail, and the same with data as well.
I have a slightly, okay, sorry, please.
No, please.
So I have slightly, see, it's when we say, let me take a start by my own industry, education, right? Today you can go to ChatGPT and get your questions answered on pretty much any topic or any one of these LLMs. Does that mean, now all of you students and all of us are parents here, are students using less tuitions? They're not, right? Because students don't ask questions. They want it to be fed to them, right? So yes, you can go to ChatGPT and you can say, explain whatever Russian Revolution or problem in differential calculus, whatever, it'll explain it to you. But who's going to ask those questions? They don't ask it. They don't know what they don't know, right? So the tutor has to come and say, okay, you do these things, and that's what they depend on. So therefore, what the system will do, any system, and that's getting over the years faster and better, and more automation. So more data is available in the form that you want, but you still have to ask the questions. I mean, if you go think of it in an environment where there are scenarios where saying AI will, you can have AI will build a business, $1 billion business. Okay, there are scenarios you might read about, but you can't tell AI, okay, how do I make money? What answer will you get? Nothing, right? You can say, how do I run a good marketing campaign targeting these segment? I think there's an opportunity in this. That creative part, the human part, is not going away. In fact, it's becoming more important. So what will the jobs that are going away are people who are not using these tools, right? So people who are not using the tools will get replaced by people who are using the tools. I think that's what basically will. And each person will do a lot more because productivity will go up, right? That basic insight and the creativity and imagination, I don't think AI is anywhere there yet or going to be there in the foreseeable future. It's doing a great job, calculations and automation and doing everything much faster. And see the when you say democratizing data, right? You have a choice. So at one extreme, everybody has all the data. At one extreme, everything is controlled by, say, one person at the head of the organization, right? Now, every organization will need to find their own balance, and they've been doing that balancing act since EDP came, I don't know, 50, 60 years ago, right? So, and that process continues. The tools are different, the technologies are different, and that process continues, right? And the whole process becomes, now a smaller organization will take more risk. They will allow more people to have more informations. Bigger organizations are less, are more sensitive, are better, all that. So they will take less risk. And that process carries on. Just the tools are different. Uh, but what is different, obviously, is that, like I said, a lot of automation is happening. A lot of routine work is getting automated, and that's a challenge for the managers, for the employees, for the career seekers.
I want to add one more thing on that aspect in terms of when we are talking about the data sharing, information sharing, the security is the main aspect nowadays. Data security, information security came in the picture. Anybody know about the phishing? You hear about phishing? Cyber attack, you hear about that one? Anybody can tell me latest cyber attack? So I'll share you one of, I'll not take the name of the organizations. There was a latest cyber attack and one of manufacturing facility was completely shut down for a month. Completely shut down for a month. 30,000 employees were sitting at home and the other suppliers, partners, vendors, you can see approx, the pensioners also. So the overall 20,000 crore loss for a month was the impact due to cyber attack. And it could happen, why? Maybe through phishing link. Nowadays, the latest trend came in the picture, the invitation of the wedding, you are getting the PSK or APK file coming as a link from a non-person. So you click on that, your mobile will be hacked automatically. So in the business point of view, it is very, very critical. And the government give a guarantee of, I think, $1.5 million loan guarantee government given to run the business.
Yeah, Dr. Bal.
So I had a slightly different take when we hear about, I think, Sir has raised a very good point. Agar AI will do everything, what will we do? I think that is the question. In 80s, there was no computer in India. Okay, when the computer came, there was a huge issue in the country that if the computers come, what will happen to the people? Reservation used to happen on the register and everything. Okay, so there is a separate story for that. When I started in 1990 in the IT industry, we used to sell and tell customer that we will have a paperless office. We will have the DMS system, document system, paperless office, you don't use paper. Paper is still there. Okay. What I'm trying to tell you that we evolve, human evolve. Of course, we see threat and then we see threat, we get evolved kind of thing. So to my mind, it is my personal view. There are 3 technologies which are going to be there for next decade. One is data analytics, because that is the base. And data is everything I'm talking about. It is audio, video, rows, column, whatever you talk about. Okay, your sentiments, everything is data. I'm talking about your NLP you talk about. So that is data. So data analytics is going to be there. If data analytics is there, you need to basically have tools to manage the data. So that's come the AI or cloud where you store data, or the AI part which have been there. Because humanly, it will be difficult to process all sorts of data. At one hand, you're looking at the social media, LinkedIn, everything about the company. You're looking at your revenue number. You're looking at your employees. You're looking at the production data. It becomes difficult. That's why you need tool, and which are AI enabled so that they can process faster. Third is basically securing the data, because data is critical right now. Your bank information is in the virtual world. Earlier you used to have signature, now you don't have signature. I think how many people go to bank, I don't know. Actual money तो देखते नहीं है ना, मतलब we only see कि बैंक में बढ़ गया घट गया. So that is what is we are talking about the data which is there. So cyber security, data analytics and AI. Next 5 years, it is far off. Okay, we'll have quantum, because we'll generate so much of a data. Okay, we are not talking about gigabyte, we are talking about petabyte which have been there. You need systems which is not working on 0 and 1, digital. They work N to N so that you can process the data. And they will not be far, I think. I had a slightly different take with Sir, that we are talking about Gen AI right now. Okay, we're going to have a narrow AI in the next 1 decade, where they can make the intelligent decision which have been there. So what is there to us to do? I think question was that. One is we evolve. And I think I take it from him what he said. Ask question means curiosity. curiosity is one thing which is not going to be in the tools. It is going to be the human mind. You need to always curious what is going to happen on this thing. That's why you need to read daily, every day, what is happening all around technology. Because as a manager, you're not from the technology side. As a manager, you need to understand what technology is going to do for the business, what technology is going to change the lifestyle of the people which have been there, how technology is going to impact the social impact of this thing. That is what the beauty of the basically a manager is. If you see that, again I go back to Uber example. Okay, it is nothing great which the guys have done basically. The idea came to his mind, okay, that there are cars which are going there on the road. He was standing and he wanted to go from place A to place B. There are 3 spaces which are vacant which are there. So people can take me from here to there and he can make more money. Okay, that is simple idea. So you need to be curious and see how we can improve, and that's why we keep on improving of the quality of life and the way of life. When the COVID happened, I'm sure you will be in the classes. Okay, you would be happy कि college school बंद हो गया, पढ़ना नहीं पड़ेगा, ऐसा हुआ था ना? But ऐसा नहीं हुआ. आपके हाथ में मोबाइल पकड़ा दिया, okay? And you had online classes, which are more tougher than the normal classes which have been there. I'm saying we evolve, and the moment we see any challenge, I think human evolve. But how do you do that? It is because you're curious to do that thing. So that is, for me, I think the take for that.
So due to paucity of time, I'll stop here, sir. So we have, we'll open the floor for questions from the audience. Yeah, please raise your hand and you can ask your question. And you also please indicate is any specific person you want to answer, him to answer that question, or it's for the entire panel.
Firstly, sir, it was a wonderful session. Thank you so much for this session. So my question is to Dr. Bhardwaj, sir. So as you are working for Indian Defence also, so how difficult it is to maintain the or strike the perfect balance of sharing the data with the junior subordinates to, you know, get the perfect insight through that data and making sure that the sensitive information is not getting, you know, compromised.
So first of all, in any organization, junior senior is not important in the private organization. I'm not talking about the government organization. It is role what you do. Okay. If your role is to basically have the access to data, you get the access to data. So for example, in the HR, an HR executive may have access to the people's salary, okay, and all the data for that matter. But the production head will not have access to the HR data for that matter. So please remember, the concept is role-based. What role you perform in the organization. And that role is normally defined. If you move from one role to another role, you got to have access to data. So I'll give you another example. Most of the organizations got a data centers. Okay, you heard about data centers? You know, even the CEO doesn't have the access to go to the data center. But the IT team will have access to go to the data center because it is their role there. So it is not based on, it is a wrong conception on the senior, junior kind of this thing. We are getting into the era where it is a role-based work which have been there. If your role demands, you get the access to data. If your role doesn't demand, the access is revoked. And again, I'm telling you, it is not that it will be permanent. By the time you're in the role, you will do that thing. If you become manager, if you don't do the operation role, the access to data goes. You will only have access to the reports.
If you can add. So part of my role, as mentioned, is to have visibility to all the SAP sales data, which can be very sort of risky for SAP. Okay, why does he have access? Because my role requires that. How do I ensure that the compromise, so in case in future I know, even if I think of compromising, my company systems are in place to track it back to me. So proper trackability needs to be there for each of the action. And the second, the cost outweighs the benefit. Okay, so if you look at GDPR data for Europe and all, lot of people actually lost their jobs. They were actually put into lot of penalties were given for smallest of data breaches. So those are some of the things at least my company does. One is trackability, so nothing can be done hidden to the company. And once it is found out, the punishment is big. And third one, which is very critical, is training. All the employees are mandated quarterly information security training, mandated, where even in our dreams we are scared that okay, we can't do that. So those are some of the things at least my company does. Thought of sharing with you.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. My name is Tushar Goyal, and thank you so much for today's session. It was a great, insightful session. I believe all of us have a great experience. My question is that as future leaders, what key skills should we, as management students, develop to thrive in such an developing data-driven environment, sir? So anyone can answer, sir.
I'll share, then you can add. I'll talk about again, I will repeat that same thing you should first know about the business. Understanding of the business, knowledge of the business. Then only you can come on the data part.
So, again, we need to understand what is our role. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, as a manager, you go to which role? If you're the salesperson, okay, you go to, I think you got sales, you got the operation, you got the systems, and I think so on and so forth, HR, which have been there. Again, if you are, all these tools are available, what are the data is available to you? As a HR, how you wanted to basically, I'm telling you an example on the HR which have been there. Earlier, we used to basically only measure how we are going to address the attrition. And how we look at the attrition? We used to monitor, okay, in any organization, this doesn't happen in the college, that if you access any organization network, if you're part of that network, you're a domain in that, whatever activity you do is monitor. Which website you go, how much time you spend on your laptop, computer, they monitor, okay? And they know where you go and how much time you actually doing working. I think that is also been logged basically. That is done in the organizations, most of the organizations. So based on that, we used to draw that if the person is trying to go to the Naukri.com and everything which have been there, he's not engaged, we know that person is going to leave, and then we do the intervention. So that's why I'm just telling you how you basically work on that. Now the things come that before hiring, can I predict that the guy is going to be stable for me for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? Because the tools are available now. They can do the sentiment analysis, okay? From which background they come, where they have read, what is their views which have been there. So this is just an imagination, okay? And I think as earlier also mentioned, there's no limit to it. Okay, we are not basically gone to that kind of thing. So as a manager, whatever field you work, you need to see that that's why you need to understand the tool, basic working of the tool, but business side is from your side. And how will you improve your business side? You need to read more. Okay, you need to read what is happening across the world. You need to read what is happening across the industry. If you see, most of the examples are from the one industry to the another industry. Okay, so you see how you can cross-pollinate those ideas. So you need to have more ideas. And that you can get by reading only and the curiosity only. That is my view, but yeah.
So you would have seen an animal called lemur. Okay, it has big eyes and always on the top of the tree looking around. It's a lemur. What I mean by that is have a little bit of a paranoia. That paranoia is not bad. A little bit of paranoia is always good, so that you are always on the run to find more knowledge. So, and you're talking about the skills. What I would say is have certain things as part of your character. One is have a little bit of humility, because that is the first thing to get more knowledge. Okay, have more humility, that you might be knowing all the things, but not, you might be knowing some things, but not all the things. Have a little bit more, sir said quite well, curiosity. Okay, always ask question. That's what I meant. Okay, you are looking at a number, always question the number. Don't, for example, even today, if you are looking at any video even, always ask, because AIs can also make a similar video. So don't believe anything, put your brain. And in terms of skills, I think Evelyn Toffler actually put it quite wonderfully. It's a very good quote. I always have it. I print it and put it in my desk. The illiterate of the 21st century is not the person who can't read or write. It is the person who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So basically have the humility to unlearn also, because always remember what worked last year may not work going forward. Classic case is all this social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Now having skills in Twitter will not help you in Instagram reaching the same audience. unlearn that and relearn the new tools and technologies which are coming. Sorry.
Point to that. I think absolutely right. You need to learn, you need to learn a lot. You need to be persistent, all of that stuff. Just one thing within an organization context that I think 90% is start when you have a problem in the company, when in your work, ask think of it from a customer perspective. Very often it's about, it becomes about technology, or it becomes about us, should we use AI, or should we use quantum, or should we use chat, whatever it is. The point, if you start, and it's not a trivial thing, most people don't start from the customer. Technology, to my mind, or is available, and it's not the most important thing, right? Like AI, you've seen a huge amount of hype about it, right? Keep asking people, what are the good use cases of AI? I mean, how is it impacting your customers or your life? And very few people have good ideas around that, right? So if you start from saying, okay, so why AI? What is the use of AI? How can it improve my life or somebody else's life? Start from there. I think, it will, all the advice you've got of working hard, being persistent and curious and all that, put it in the context of the customer. And that, to my mind, as technology becomes more and more automated and tools become, that is a singular skill or singular perspective, soft skill, whatever you want to call it, will really make the difference. And it's very important, and to that point about being scared, I think you should be scared. More than any generation, obviously before you. We don't know what will happen in the next generation. But the gap between people who succeed and who don't is getting wider. Okay. Today there are statistics that I think 5 people have more wealth today than some 500 million people at the bottom of something like that. And those statistics, any statistic you look at, is getting worse. One person with a good AI engine can do the work of maybe 500 people today. So if you get left behind, you're going to get really far left behind. So you have the opportunity, especially this group has the best, wonderful exposure. Don't lose that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for an insightful session. I have a question which is open to all the esteemed guests. Since we know AI is here to stay, and one subset of AI, particularly machine learning, uses past data, which might have had biases previously, which is even going to lead to skewed decision making in the future. So what kind of manual interventions are currently being incorporated in the corporations and businesses to make sure these errors are not these errors do not come even in the future decision making?
I mentioned it that Dutch thing was a machine learning failure, where the edge cases, the minority groups got excluded because the training data or the past data didn't have that. The problem there was the decisions was full and final, so nobody could change that. The first thing was they instituted was the power to override. Okay, that's the first thing which is there, and for that you need humans, diversified teams. Then there should be a team structure where there should be adversarial teams or adversarial analytics team which actually questions and counters that data. Fourth is then going the Singapore government way, where you take the data, feed it back to the system with the correction, and slowly the power of 9, they call it in the world of accuracy. First attempt for 90%, then 99%, then 99.9%, then 99.99%, and it's an iterative process. It's not that you have to go from 90 to 100%. It will never happen. For example, this self-driving car. It was first actually done in 2012, and we are sitting in 2026. It's not there actually. They're stuck in some nine. They're stuck in some nine. But so somewhere you have to iteratively and keep all your stakeholders involved. Just like Singapore government is doing. Okay, this is where area where we are actually falling bad, but these are the corrective actions we are taking. So their analytics team is doing a good job. I would rather say that going back, you should do that case study about the Singapore government AI analytics implementation for their citizen. It's a must read case study. You should read about it. Yeah. Thanks.
I'll just add one point. See, when you look at a LLM, right, that multiple. So one is the fundamental training of the model itself, right? I mean, that part is being done by the big guys. And just on your point, I know you said in your video, India is reaching. Just to keep in context, India is nowhere in that scene. Okay, so whenever you think about it, it's nice to be patriotic, but please be clear that we are far behind as a country on any of that. But see, that fundamental training of the models, whether you look at any of these models, is going to be done by these big tech companies. I mean, they're investing not billions, hundreds of billions, and now they're talking trillions, right, of dollars in these data centers and CPUs, which there's very little hope for the smaller guy, and that's part of the reason bigger guys are getting bigger, right? I mean, but you can build a layer of customization on top of that. That's what I think he's referring to, where you can put, for example, if you provide information based, you can put a contextual documents and references and all that, and you can put the guardrails according to your own requirements. So, for example, when you build a chatbot for a book for our students, we put, if you ask about, I don't know, Taylor Swift and all, then it'll say, okay, I'm not going to answer all this. So you put guardrails around. Now that's the part that a organization can and should do. Just bear in mind, it's not a technology job per se. It is a more, it's prompt engineering, it is understanding of consumers, it's a bunch of things. The task of, for example, creating a chatbot today is not a technology job anymore. It is, there are plenty of tools available, anybody can sit and make it. But the configuring it.
I had done a project in 2013, 6 months, 10 people to build a chatbot. Think about it today.
6 hours.
Not even 6 hours. I mean, 1 hour you just go to Replete and say, okay, build a chatbot with this model. It'll be up and running. Just think about it.
It's not a technology guy's job. It is, a different job.
A different job. Mixture of technology, and you will need technology.
But
algorithm. Be strong in your algorithm. Thinking power. That is required. Yeah. And talking about paranoia, I'm also the most paranoid person you can see. I do keep on reading and listening to podcasts on a daily basis. I do have a newsletter, Seamless plugin, in LinkedIn, in case where I share whatever I've learned in a week. So in case you want a capsule sort of a thing, you can actually subscribe to that. Shameless plugin. Sorry.
Thank you so much.
Just to add one point further, so keeping human in loop is very important. So we say data is the oil, but how much we refine that oil, it's actually providing that power. So there are a lot of data which comes in when this algorithm will put in. The way we train our people, the way in the organization, same way the LLM has to be trained. And we have to keep human always in the loop until unless we get the full confidence on those biasness part, whether it's working, not working. For example, we did our AP process automation where whenever invoices coming from the vendor, automatically do all the processing in ERP and it put it ready, post it in the SAP for the payment. But the final payment, whether it has to go to the vendor or not, that is being triggered by a person manually final reviewing it. So keeping human is also very important in that aspects.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you to all our speakers for that enriching and thought-provoking discussion. Due to interest of time, we will be not taking any questions. On behalf of everyone present, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speakers. We truly appreciate their presence and the wisdom they shared, despite their demanding schedules. Their insight have illuminated how analytics, when democratized responsibly, can shape organizations that are not just data-driven but value-driven. Now we kindly request Himanshu sir to give away the mementos to our guests. Starting with Mr. Sudhakar Jha, as sir rightly highlighted, how democratization of data gives powers of decision making to every level of an organization. Next we have Dr. Ashok Sangwan, as he highlighted how knowing the knowledge is a tool and the wisdom is basically which tool is to apply and to reach your milestone. Now we kindly request Ramesh sir to give away the mementos to our guests. Next we have Mr. Subhankar Patnaik, as he highlighted that variability of data along with accountability has contributed for improving the efficiency of the entire process. Next we have Mr. Vivek Agarwal, as he mentioned how democratizing analytics gives power to everyone to put forward their opinion about how several instances are likely to happen and their possible impacts. Next we have Dr. Jitendra Mohan Bharadwaj, as he rightly mentioned that how companies like Netflix and Uber is implementing data democratization in their organizations for increasing the efficiency. A special thanks to our moderator, Mr. Himanshu Joshi, for steering this conversation with such depth, balance, and for ensuring every viewpoint found is space in today's highly interactive discussion. We would now like to call Ms. Samiksha Kesri, the Joint Secretary of the Information Management and Analytics Club, to present Himanshu sir with a memento as a token of appreciation. A special thanks to Mr. Ramesh sir. We would now like to call Ms. Samiksha Kesri, the Joint Secretary of Information Management and Analytics Club, to present Ramesh sir with the memento as a token of appreciation.
As we draw this enlightening session to a close, we would like to express our sincere appreciation to all of you who have been a part of this enlightening discussion. The guests, speakers, professors, participants, faculty members, and the staff of IMI Delhi for making the Analytics Summit 2025 a resounding success. Additionally, we extend a heartfelt gratitude to all our esteemed sponsors for their invaluable support in making Conventus 2025, the annual management conclave of IMI Delhi, a grand success. A special thanks to our title sponsor, Bank of Baroda, whose partnership has been instrumental in bringing this event to life. We are equally thankful to our co-sponsor RPSG and our Finance Summit sponsor Indian Bank for their continuous encouragement. Our appreciation also goes to our banking partner ICICI Bank, our insurance partner LIC, our telecom solution partner HFCL, our sustainability partner STEM Executive Search Private Limited for their support in diverse domains. We sincerely thank our real estate partner Key Properties, our learning partner Phoenix Global, our exploration partner Royal Enfield, our fragrance partner Vanessa Care, our bath and body care partner Plum and Loving Body, our convenience partner GoGrab, our entertainment partner White Heaven, and our media partner Fever FM for enriching the experience of Conventus 2025. Your collaboration and trust continue to inspire us to make every edition of Conventus bigger, bolder, and better. In this spirit of a Conventus theme, when the next generation guides the boardroom, may we continue to build workplaces where data meets empathy and where leadership is redefined to inclusivity, ethics, and trust. Thank you and have a wonderful afternoon ahead. Lastly, we would like to request the team of IMAC and the Student Council to come forward for a picture with the panel. Everyone, please be seated. We are going to take the attendance.
Roll number 002, 005,